I'd like to talk to you today about a course that I am currently enrolled in at Vancouver Island University. The course is entitled OLTD 505, and the topic of the course is Open Educational Resources. Throughout this course, we have been looking at some very interesting and groundbreaking ideas in the area of open education. One of the concepts that struck me most in this course was the idea of a mashup. What I am attempting to do here this evening is to demonstrate my learning in the form of a mashup of my own, taking bits and pieces of others' work, having them start sentences and having others finish them, having one person back up another person's points. By going through these videos again and again and again, I certainly have a better understanding than I did the first time through. What makes this idea so exciting and relevant for me is that during this course we came across so many strong personalities, many with phenomenal, some might say controversial ideas. One of the grandest statements that I came across was the idea that sound professional research papers and articles are based on quoting articles of work by past writers. Why then can we not produce work that takes pieces of video and artwork and weave it into a new original piece? Traditionally, we have to pay for those items. The following is an attempt on my part to mimic an APA-style paper using video as my medium. In the following video, I will be attempting to address these items. What is open education? What is open and what is not? How will this affect our career as a whole? And more specifically, how will it affect my teaching? Let's have a look.
Today we're going to create a mashup, a fun and adventurous way to make something fresh out of something stale.
The term openness has many connotations in education. We have the idea of open educational resources, and open means that the resources are free, depending on whatever your definition of free is.
Khan Academy is most known for its collection of videos, so before I go any farther, let me show you a little bit of a montage.
So the hypotenuse is now going to be 5. This animal's fossils are only found in this area of South America, a nice clean band here, and this part of Africa. National Assembly, they create the Committee of Public Safety, which sounds like a very nice committee. This does not blow your mind, then you have no emotion.
These resources are available at a minimum of no cost to the user of the resource, the learner.
We now have on the order of 2,200 videos covering everything from basic arithmetic all the way to vector calculus and some of the stuff that you saw up there. We have a million students a month using the site, watching on the order of 100 to 200,000 videos a day.
Open means open in the sense that a person can access those resources without any conditions whatsoever. No fees, no subscriptions, no tuitions, no registrations.
The first was the feedback from my cousins. They told me that they preferred me on YouTube than in person.
If you talk to young people today about television and tell them, did you know there was a time that if you wanted to watch Lost, you actually had to be in front of your television at 9 o'clock, or you missed it?
They were saying that they preferred the automated version of their cousin to their cousin.
Kids who sat back in their room and listened to the podcast actually learn quite a bit more than the people who attend lecture. I mean, imagine being able to just skip back and catch what you missed in the lecture. You're taking notes, you missed that, you look up, it's gone.
You have this situation where now they can pause and repeat their cousin. Now they can, without feeling like they're wasting my time. They could, if they have to review something that they should have learned a couple of weeks ago or maybe a couple of years ago, they don't have to be embarrassed and ask their cousin. They can just watch those videos. If they're bored, they can go ahead. They can watch it at their own time, at their own pace.
Why do I have to be in a certain room from 10:30 to 11:30 to hear you broadcast your lecture.
That not only would it help my cousins right now or these people who are sending letters, but it could maybe that this content will never go old, that it could help their kids or their grandkids. If Isaac Newton had done YouTube videos on calculus, I wouldn't have to.
And as we think about moving our teaching online, it's sort of like saying that we're swimming on horseback. In other words, to think that you could do the same things online that you can do in the classroom is just ludicrous.
We, as David Wiley says, invoke our inner two-year-old and undermine the entire premise upon which education is built, and that is sharing. Listening to Wiley speak, I now agree. David talks about the obligations of institutions to teach not only the students in the building, but beyond. And if indeed we believe that teaching is sharing, then if there is no sharing, there is no education.
And the teachers would write saying, we've used your videos to flip the classroom. You've given the lectures. So now what we do, and this could actually happen in every classroom in America tomorrow, what I do is I assign the lectures for homework, and what used to be homework, I now have the students doing in the classroom.
I'm a giant derivative. Because every one of them embraces a culture of sharing, I benefit. I've been blessed to work as part of a larger community of learners, teachers, explorers, and innovators who, in the spirit of sharing, have thrown their ideas onto a giant whiteboard for others to use, critique, and mash up. In the end, it's difficult to claim much ownership, and I'm okay with that.
Pretty accurate description of what it is that we're all doing. And to me, I think this idea, not the digital divide where people have computers and people don't, but the daily divide, the way that education is so different from the rest of our lives, and particularly our students' lives, is a problem for us. You know, they come expecting a certain kind of experience based on the experience that they have with government and with business and with other things in their life. And then they get to school, and school is so different.
These teachers have used technology to humanize the classroom. But this is all one system. There's no reason why you can't have that peer-to-peer tutoring beyond that one classroom.
My experience is that most teachers love to share. Again, if sharing is education, that makes sense that educators love to share.
When you share your creativity, you're enabling people anywhere to use it, learn from it, and be inspired by it. Did you know that when you create something, anything, from a photograph to a song, to a drawing, to a film, to a story, you automatically own an all rights reserved copyright to that creativity. Copyright protects your creativity against uses you don't consent to. But sometimes full copyright is too restrictive. What if you want your work to be freely shared, reused, and built upon by the rest of the world?
Hi, my name's Barry. I want to show you how to play Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know. This is my own way of playing it. Let's get started. Now I do a little fancy picking on that, by the way. It's just...
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's totally illegal.
People know that when you share your creative wealth, you can accomplish great things. Now there are millions and millions of songs, pictures, videos, and written works available to share, reuse, and remix, all for free.
We've become a culture that's much more participatory and that invites creation in a way that is different from before.
Girl Talk makes mashups. His computer is an instrument, and the notes he plays are sampled from thousands of pop music classics, cut up and rearranged to create new songs.
All kinds of questions and concerns emerge as you venture into this world of sharing. Is it safe? Why would I do this? Is it worth my time? How do I make it valuable and meaningful?
So just being able to just manipulate and do whatever you want, just kind of put Elton John in a headlock and just, put a beat behind him and pour a beer on his head.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's totally illegal.
Whether or not you think this music is original isn't the point, because the rules of this game don't depend on who made the songs. They depend on who owns the copyright. And according to the people that do, sampling even a single note is grounds for a lawsuit. That means these kids should not be dancing, and you shouldn't be watching.
Part of what we're trying to do here is make people understand that what they're doing is illegal.
That means come clean, delete your files, and promise to never, ever do it again.
We can't stop people from taking culture and remaking it in a way that expresses their ideas differently. We can only drive this creativity underground.
I'm Don Smith. I'm a pastor and a ministry consultant from McKinney, Texas, in the Dallas, Texas area, and I have been sued for copyright infringement.
We can't make our kids passive in the way we were growing up. We can only make them, quote, pirates.
Hi, I'm one of the kids who was prosecuted for downloading music free off of the internet.
If you're going to do this, you're going to have people like Metallica with very deep pockets who are very tenacious on your back all the time, and whether that's something that you want to continue pursuing, basically.
For these people, ideas are intellectual property, locked up until purchase. They use infinite money, corporate lobbies, and lawsuits to protect their property. Let's call this side the copyright. On the other side are those who want to share ideas. We'll call them the copyleft. These people believe that the public domain must be protected to ensure the free exchange of ideas and the future of art and culture.
Take, for example, a license such as Creative Commons, which creates a type of open content, then there can be conditions attached to that license.
Creative Commons. We provide free copyright licenses you can use to tell people exactly which parts of your copyright you're happy to give to the public. It's easy. It only takes a minute and it's totally free.
There's also something called the GNU Free Documentation License. GNU, spelled GNU, is the main type of open source license for software.
When this song come from the cotton field and the boy went to put the record out around Mr. Jones.
Did you know the tune before you heard it on the record, though?
I knew the tune before I heard it on the record.
Who did you learn?
I learned it from Son House.
Potentially in the future, we're going to look back and just be like, wow, I can't believe people were having these moral struggles with someone collaging two songs together. Seems like something that could be very dated, very fast.
So if artists build on the work that came before them, then a healthy public domain is essential to creativity. Because in the public domain, we can freely build on earlier works. It's part of evolution. Think Mozart, Shakespeare, or Thomas Edison. Once upon a time, all ideas were in the public domain. Every invention and every piece of art could be built upon by the generation that followed.
It's taking something that was and turning it into something that it wasn't. The answer will always be, it depends, and in part it depends on whose it is and how upset they are.
Fair use is a part of copyright law that allows for free speech. I can use small amounts of copyrighted material to make an argument. I can still get sued, but now I have a defense. Culture always builds on the past, but the past will always try to control the future. Our future is becoming less free. And to build free societies, we need to limit the control of the past.
So there's no monopoly for us any longer, and there's no bailout coming, so we may actually have to behave like other people that exist in competitive markets, and we may have to innovate. We may have to change what we do in order to stay relevant.
Our model is learn math the way you would learn anything, like the way you would learn a bicycle. Stay on that bicycle. Fall off that bicycle. Do it as long as necessary until you have mastery.
If we don't change, student learning may suffer. If we don't close this daily divide between the rest of their lives and the ways that we work with them, it'll be increasingly hard to reach them.
We all seek recognition for our contributions, but the moment we focus on protecting our work, we are in some ways the antithesis of a teacher.
Says, what if Facebook worked like your learning management system? And every 15 weeks, Facebook deleted all your friends, deleted all your groups, deleted all your photos, forgot everything about you, and made you start again. That's not the way you build a community.
Imagine what happens if that student in Calcutta all of a sudden can tutor your son, or your son can tutor that kid in Calcutta. And I think what you'll see emerging is this notion of a global one-world classroom. And that's essentially what we're trying to build.
Well, it's amazing. I think you just got a glimpse of the future of education. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to a new world where collaboration rules.
I hope that in the end, by creating this collage of my favorite bits and pieces of video and moments from OLTD 505, that I have assembled an appropriate demonstration of my learning. Thank you for coming out.